Good morning and welcome to the Aaron Russos podcast. Happy New Year. What an amazing start to 2026. I say amazing because it's just beautiful to be in a different energy. A lot of things like that you probably don't understand. And from a personal perspective, I've obviously formed what I would call a completion last year and moving into some new stuff this year. And so I thought I would get the ball rolling on day one. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, 17 degrees Celsius, so it's quite cold. I came down south for summer thinking it's going to be in the 30s every day, and it hasn't been the case. But that's what happens when consciousness can affect the weather and the vibration of the planet. Something you have no idea about as well. That's in real high consciousness. So I thought I'd start the year in a positive way. And I haven't given any updates for quite some time about the longevity program that I have been working on. So for any of you that have just tuned in, this is your first rodeo. I was able to cure my own incurables by doing a research project that became holistic, body, mind, and spirit. And so when the 8,000 medical papers and studies and genome projects and all the stuff that I had, where I was looking to work out what had caused my incurable disease, I had to get spiritual. I had to get grounded in spirituality and find something practical, applications that, some form of instruction sets or something that would work to give me answers where no one on this planet could provide me with the answers, which is pretty out there, right? But you get to test all of this stuff to know whether it's crazy or woo-woo or whatever, because whatever they give you, you can test it. And it must have worked because I healed myself. So I've since gone on and applied the same methodology. It's like a healing, an infinite healing modality. It's a bit of spirituality thrown in. It's the real religion. It's just core truth. And so I thought I would apply this to longevity and see how long we can live for. And I found out some amazing things. We have something within us that ages us. It's stored in our DNA. It's governed by something that we know very well. For anyone that has any experiences with a kinesiologist, when you muscle test, the innate, doctors termed it the innate, called it the innate. And that governs our karma. But also our spiritual growth, and also it will push you to die early to capture more growth in the spiritual line. Like if there's two concurrent timelines sort of going on with your biology and your soul, it's in that soul timeline that it's trying to get you to grow and capture as much as you can, because we're all trying to grow. We're all trying to be graduates on this planet. That's the end game for us, is to graduate on Earth. All grown up. We're in our infancy, so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Millions of years to go. Sorry, not millions. It basically takes about 1 million years for a planet to grow up. So with the longevity, I found out obviously what was aging us. I know the system better than anyone else on the whole planet Earth, which is pretty cool. And so I'm asking for certain answers and drawn to things and finding things and forming instruction sets of how to instruct innate to stop aging me within a system that's been doing it for millions of years. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of tell it once. You have to keep reminding it. It's part of this system that's been in perpetual motion. There's laws attached to it. And so to slow that. And then there's other things that we do that can slow the process when we're meditating. When we're usually connected into that intuitive, that beautiful part of us that's not the animal. And also then some of the healing stuff that I've done is also relevant because it gives us a good idea about alignment, about the natural state that we're in, a natural state that a human's in, and how to align with that to get better health results, but also how to align to actually stop that aging process. If you're a very high consciousness, like you had, when you learn all this stuff about who we are, what we're part of, how consciousness works, how to manipulate it, as a 3D low consciousness person now, you look at gravity and you say it's density versus mass, machinery and the things and tools that can read it might see it as a wave. But in higher consciousness, that consciousness itself is energy and that it can manipulate and change that gravity. And that's why, that's what they call masters, right? Jesus was a master. He came here and mastered it. And as his final test, to become a master, which means you don't need to reincarnate here anymore, we then... we have to die corporally in the physical and bring ourselves back to life, which he did, right? And every master, Michael, Sunak Kamatra, all of them have done that final test, I guess, to say, yeah, you have mastered it here on Earth as a soul having an experience. And so that's what we're all trying to, that's the game we're in, that's all part of. So this longevity to live longer on the earth has many elements to it as well, but they all make sense, right? It's pretty easy. We've got, as in the healing part, we can look into our history and we look in and go, okay, before Noah and the flood, there's reported, reports that people lived to, even up to 900 years. Then Noah and the flood, post that, we're about 170. And so my last update was about the length of age I think we can reach. And I was like, well, I'm pretty confident with what I got so far we can get to 170. Now, the latest update is that, like on Earth, I'm going to give you a bit of backstory to this one. Women's business, does go through a cycle. It ends because to maintain and life in that female, the reproduction system goes through a process of shedding and that's menopause and all that, and that's so necessary for that female within the system to be able to finish that corporeal life here. Men's seeds, our sperm, our seed does not go through that process. It lives forever. A 90-year-old could give seed and have a baby. So my update, and it's not that simple. I've gone through it. This has been months going through this. So the update is that this huge level, I said last time, 170, I think males could live hundreds and hundreds of years. Quite easily 300, based on environment, food, toxins, unnatural stuff and bits and pieces with what's going on today. And in the future it could be more. So I'm pretty confident now that males can live hundreds of years now with the knowledge that I have. I've tested some of the stuff myself with a longevity program. And everything that I'm finding is it's about alignment. And as humans, like, I've always told you a whole lot of truth about stuff, but as humans, we really do need to stop and take stock and really change our mindset about everything, because we're so easily fooled, we're so easily conditioned. We will get behind something and be almost absolute about it, and it's killing us. And people get so strong-willed with things, and they have no idea really what's going on. And then they'll ridicule those who do have better information. So with the alignment, alignment is, we are natural beings, and the alignment is about, it's not intense stuff, it's alignment. It's soft, natural. Yeah, we want change. Yes, we want to move. Yes, we want, but we don't want extremes. In life, there's levels of everything, okay? Being competitive is very healthy and very natural. Being competitive to a point where you'll sell your grandmother and don't give a shit, you just want to win, is an unhealthy level of that. Exercise in its lightest form of walking and, makes us feel great, gets endorphins going, changes chemicals, gets things moving. That is healthy, right? Excess to a point where you become obsessed and overdoing it, really putting a lot of stress on your system, that changes the chemical composition and has actually been proven in my studies as one of the top 10 causes of chronic anxiety, which is a chemical illness, right? So we need to look a little bit closer at what we're doing and what alignment is and how it works for us if we're going to live longer. At the moment, we just bombard our whole system with chemicals, bad things for our mind, terrible things for our soul. Our immune systems are shot. The common cold can't get around it. Our DNA efficacy is at all-time lows. And you probably don't understand the DNA as well and how all that works, because you're too busy just trying to survive. But I guess that, the Human Genome Project's well documented, and there's lots of information out there, and probably, our DNA efficacy might be around 30% at the moment. And, the most common question I get is, Aaron, what happens when your DNA is at 100%? And so, you have to know the processes of the stem cell going to the DNA to get the code to come back and write, protein encoded. It's like a computer. It's like we're like supercomputers, or what's those 3D computer? I'm trying to work it out. And so our DNA plays a big part in it. And when they say to me, what would happen if our DNA was at a high efficacy? And it's on its way. Some of the things are naturally cycling towards our DNA efficacy going up. It goes up with consciousness as well. But some things we can do as well alongside that. And I guess I look and say, look out in the universe, everything has DNA. It's not isolated to here on Earth, it's right throughout the universe. All animals, and so, there's some animals in the animal kingdom, like a starfish, an axolotl, and when they, lose an arm or a leg or an appendage, it grows back. Now, they have the same DNA as us, but they are in a more natural environment for a longer period of time, so their DNA efficacy is much higher than ours. So one thing that would happen in with higher DNA efficacy would be we'd cut an arm off, it would grow back. Makes sense, right? We probably all instinctively know deep down that makes sense. It's pretty cool. At the moment, if we sever a cord in a terrible spinal accident, chemicals rush there and stop the two bits from fusing and growing back. That's the opposite of what we want. That would be different as well. There's a lot of things and processes and things that just aren't working properly. It's a bit of a system gone haywire, dysfunctional, or just downright not working as it should be. And it's like a normal car engine, when this doesn't work or that doesn't work, it just misfires, and we get a lesser version or state or performance. We get a reduced performance in that. So that's going to make a big difference to living longer. And so even little things in alignment, like we all have trends and fads, and we're running around doing things to our body. We're jumping in plunge pools at the moment. That's a big thing, to get a ice bath or whatever and jump into it. And people say, oh, I do it in the morning, it invigorates me and it wakes me up and it gets my mind on the job for the day. No, it's stressing your body out. That's not, if you were in a better state, you would wake up feeling refreshed, and you wouldn't be so sluggish to actually pull yourself out of that, but you're already in a state. So it's extremes, it's intense, and it's reducing your life. Fact. So there's many things that are you just have to look and say, are they intense? Is it a shock to the system, or is it naturally aligned and something that you find just goes with the natural flow of life and energy? And that's where all the secrets to the universe are. The healing stuff that I worked out was really, what I worked out? That the greatest healer is each and every one of us that's laying dormant inside us right now. We have never had our body in the right state for it to be able to heal itself. It heals nearly absolutely everything. But we're in this dysfunctional, lowered state where, I've done many a podcast and written it in books and all sorts of stuff of why, how it all works. And I give it away free on my website as well. It's called the Universal Healing Algorithm. And there's a dispositional index to begin with at the start. So what I'm saying is, what's our natural elevated state at optimum, where everything's really firing and working really well, and so none of us on the planet are there, and so we're all a lesser version of that, every single one of us. And it might be 70% of that, 60%. When you get to 60%, right, and then you still don't get sick, right? But then when you're at 60%, and there's a list of, say, 100 unnatural things for a natural system that we're either exposed to: washing, drink, chemicals, food, traumas, things we see, mental limitations, fear, indoctrination. All these things are natural, right? And they cause us to go into these negative states and be exposed to things. When one of those, smoking, cigarettes with all those chemicals, so when one of those comes at you, they go, "Oh, smoking causes cancer," and you go, "Oh no, wait, one fucking cigarette won't hurt me," and and there's thousands of singular studies on cigarettes and contributing to cancer and all the rest of it, but they still don't give everyone cancer. And they say the electromagnetic field from your phone and the rare metals in your phone that gives young mice coronary disease and all the rest of it. Yeah, but that little bit won't hurt us because you don't see it. We don't see those little things hurting us, right? And they don't. And so it's tiny little micro shifts of health. And so you're at this 60% lowered state already. Smoking, EMFs, washing your clothes in chemicals, washing your mouth with tooth paste with fluoride, all these things. When enough of those things, like 20 of those things, and stress and overworking your body, intense things that are happening, overworking, overexercise, all those, they're across three planes. All these unnatural things go across all three planes of existence. When 20 things then come at that body that's at a lowered state of homeostasis at 60%, that's when diseases form. That's when, and they form, right? They don't just appear overnight. They come slowly and surely. So that's what this whole thing is about. So you can reverse engineer any disease from that. Some of the ones, look, I'm not saying all of them, because there's things like cystic fibrosis and other mutated gene disease, which is there's another way to deal with those, and I'm working on that as well. Just don't have the resources at the moment and thing, but I'll get there. So all of that plays into this, beautiful alignment, and so you can actually work out with a mathematical formula what disease you'll get, how you'll get it, based on lots of things, your history, where you're at, what you've been exposed to, trauma, and everything. Because we're so multi-dimensional, there's so much shit going on. But because doctors only deal with the physical, we've limited ourselves, and also there's money involved, so therefore you're never going to really get the answers you want. It's all driven by the unknown for you, the things that you. And so when you get to the knowing of this sort of stuff, you can apply filters to things to know whether it's good for you or not, whether it's the truth or it's just it's there to, like most of the things that are very widely available erode human interface. They're not good for you. The things that are very would be classed as a minority, it makes you invincible. That's a fact. Okay, these are facts, and then you can go and test every single fact. You can go to my website and go, all right, he says this thing, if I do organic here, do that there, bring immune system and homeostasis up, and da. You can go and test that, do that right now, and your disease will melt away. What more proof do you need? And then people like you right now, you're interested, right? So you'll go to my website and you'll see a do and don't list for 14 days, right? So I cured my own incurable disease in 14 days. This disease has there's 300 million people medicated in the world with this disease today that have low quality of life, that don't want to be here, that are fighting and struggling every minute, every hour, every day to get through the day with this terrible disease, right? So you go, fuck, that is amazing, mate. And so you rush there and you look at the list of do's and don'ts, and it's quite simple. It's no, it's not a complex thing. I tell you exactly what to do and every day, and it's pretty much repetition over 14 days. And then you look at it and you go, oh, it's interwoven with all these things that I do every day that I'm addicted to. And I've had people that tell me they don't want to be here anymore, that have said, sorry, I can't put my phone down for 14 days. They want to die. But then when they think, so addiction is now more important than your will to heal yourself. And that's the world, that's culture and human, we've created that through human conditioning, because, I'm giving you the way to, wipe out 80-90% of all visits to the doctor that you do. But our culture has us going to a doctor saying, look, something's not right in me. The doctor then runs some tests, then time passes as well, but then they come back and tell you that there's something growing inside you that's not natural, that's wrong with you. We have self-diagnosis built in, and that's what my whole medical discovery was that we have self-diagnosis in, but we're in lowered states, so it doesn't work in our DNA efficacy. But also, on the other hand, we also have I guess it's, at the end of the day, we are all everything heals, right? You cut yourself, it heals. You break a bone, it heals. Everything is geared towards healing, but when our body's in higher states, it heals a lot more things. We just haven't got the ceiling yet. And no one on the whole earth besides me has got myself into a state of homeostasis where everything's at optimum, where the body went, you know what, your chemical imbalance, this incurable disease, I'll heal that as well. It's a crazy feeling. It's not where you're used to getting your health from. It's not where you get pills and that sort of stuff. It's completely different. And that's, people fear the unknown, and that's why you're all still sick. And I'm giving away free the greatest discovery in the world. And no one's lining up. No one's knocking my door down. That's why. So it's there for whoever's ready, Sad, very sad. So I'm working on other things now, and that's what I'm updating you about today, and that's that longevity thing. So, who better to give you answers on longevity than the guy that's already cracked the code for healing, and many other things. The specialist out of 8 billion people in us holistically and the system that we're part of. No one knows more. But as I said, everything in life that is very, very well exposed, promoted, and, common knowledge to you is eroding your human interface. And everything that is hidden, suppressed, very hard to get hold of, is going to heal you of the very things that caused all of that in the first place. Sad, very sad, people are dying, people are living with no quality of life, and it's all quite a simple little process to fix it. But we are complex creatures in what we do and what we're, what we believe and stuff. So anyway, I'm working on longevity, so I've worked out ways to find the right diet, and that's part of the testing that I've been doing this year. I've been doing many different diets and trialing for different amounts of time, and meat and carnivore and vegan and paleo and fast food. Yes, I lived on fast food for 3 months, and so what I'm finding with the diet as well, they all have different like energy loads they put on it and stress they put on our bodies, and so trying to find, and then for years we've been getting our nutrients from a certain place. So it's once again a bit of a thing that, you know, I've been doing this for a few years. This is not a new thing. And there's some fascinating stuff, right? I'll give you the most fascinating thing. A lot of people, think that, the $1 billion, or $1 trillion probably, weight loss and diet industry is trying to sell one thing to everyone. But there is no one single diet that is suitable for every human being. It just doesn't exist. So they're selling you failure. And everyone knows this, right? When I was going through this period in my life, I tried 3-4 different diets, paid money, bought this, bought the food, bought the supplements, and fucking I'm still no wiser. And so we what I'm trying to find is that that happy medium place where we go, all right, what's going to help the longevity? What's going to help us? What sort of diet do we need to give us everything we need to live longer? And does it play a large role in the overall longevity program? Because healing, food is medicine, right? It plays a big role. It's over 50% of the whole protocols and programs for different diseases and stuff, right? So I'm looking at longevity, and I'm thinking, okay, is this similar? You know, because we have different things. A vegetarian diet obviously doesn't use as much energy and digests and goes through the system a lot quicker with a lot less energy load than a meat diet. But then that meat, the high energy, brings your part of your metabolism up to a high point to be able to process that, and it does other things as well. So there's a multi-dimensional answer to that, and trying to find something that would suit everyone is becoming elusive. It's almost going to be, the diet part would be a trial and error for each individual to find out. And what I've done is, I always do myself first. I biohack myself and try all these things and bits and pieces before I get the answer and go to someone else. And I got that sort of formula from being in business myself. My dad would go, "What are you doing? You don't experiment on the customers. You finalize the dish, you make it amazing, then you put it on the menu, and then you sell it." And I was like, oh. And so I've sort of kept that over into this, and I'm like, you know what? I've done me, and now I'm got some people, and obviously back in the day, lots of people would only come to me, that the only people that are willing to give up what they're addicted to and stuff, and to save their own lives, have had really low diagnosis, like 3 days to 3 weeks to live. And so trying to get someone to step outside their comfort zone with food and diet and stuff is also a bit of a challenge. But what I'm finding is, from learning from other people doing and trying different diets, that it's going to go into the bit of spiritual side again, because the most suitable diets really do come from our ancestors, and we all have ancestors, and we all, if we trace them back, we all come from different parts and different lands and different, ways of cultures and eating and stuff like that. And so I found a bit of a correlation between their ancestral diet and what works best, perfect loading. But we're also, as I said, there's levels in everything. And human beings, like, perfect diet would be about 25%, protein meats, organic meat, unaffected by chemicals and all this shit and injections and hormones and shit that they fucking give these animals to, and we end up eating it. So if you did have you wanted to eat clean, there's a saying, eat clean. So, ideally, fruit and vegetables, and make up 75%, proteins, meat 20%. But you go to a pub or a restaurant, and 50% of it is the protein, and you can order a 600-gram ribeye steak. We've really gone to extremes, and now life and alignment is about what you do all the time, not what you do some of the time. And we're not going and eating this fucking 600-gram ribeye every now and then. We're eating excessive amounts of red meat on a daily basis. So it's about balance. Balance is alignment as well. And so that's definitely part of the program. So I'm just trying to, because everything that I've done, even with the healing bit, it's that knowledge and stuff, but then it's also has to have some form of individuality with it, right? And that's so that it doesn't matter who does it, it hits every time. It's successful, you get the results that was desired. And so with alignment, as I said, the biggest aha moment this week has been with the male seed, which doesn't die no matter what age. So sorry to report, we can get women to maybe 170, and males hundreds of years. So there's another interesting point moving forward when we finalise the longevity program. There's a little bit on my website about, in the longevity section, about where I was up to, and that was done 3 months ago. So there's been a lot of movement at the station between then and now. Once again, what sort of people are going to want to live 400 years if you're healthy and of sound mind? That's another ball game. At the moment, there's a few people that have got a lot of money that are paying a lot of so-called experts to have these longevity programs, and they really fucking think they know what they're on about, and they've got no idea. It's quite comical to watch them wake up and go, I hook up to this machine and it gives me this information and bio data on myself, and I go in my plunge pool, then I do this exercise, and then I go for a swim, and then all this shit. They're putting a lot of stress on their body, and then they come out and go, oh, the computer says that I've hit a biological age which is 10 years younger than what I am, and my bloods are this and that and the other, and bits and pieces. And I look forward to these people just dropping dead, and then you go, they're selling shit as well. If anyone's selling stuff, that there's in every case, there's always if someone wants you to buy something that it interrupts you, there's something in that. So Look, a lot of the longevity, there's heaps of doctors now, companies spending billions of dollars. And when I address and talk to those doctors, I've had to get offline and stop talking to them because they're pretty fucked in the head, actually. Doctors are some of the worst brainwashed fucking, I don't know what the fuck they are on. But it must be part of their training or something, right? You need to indoctrinate these doctors. They give them a good wage and then they control the fuck out of them. If they step out of line, they put their head on a chopping block and they, and give them the cure and things to what I have, and they won't step out, they won't put their head on the chopping block. So there's some of the I don't know what to call them really, and I'm not talking about medicine or traditional medicine, everything in that space. Everyone thinks, you're always, not me, but in general, they think, anyone that comes up with something natural, we're ridiculed, like being a vegan or any of these things that actually are some of the best things that you can do for yourself and do things to the human body that nothing else can. We ridicule them. And so in the past, there's been a history of some people that have come out with, natural things and say, stop doing traditional. I'm not all about that at all. I'm about traditional medicine at its core, is people caring for people, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm about completing medicine. If you look at the history back in when the Rockefellers hijacked medicine, they just separated everything out. There was a lot of natural and allopathic thing and nutrition, and so they've separated it. So now doctors don't need nutrition, and the natural part's over here and that's over there, and that's it. And that's what makes our lowered state of health. So what I'm saying is traditional medicine's great. Emergency medicine is next level, so far advanced and really, really special. So what I'm saying is we need to bring it all back together. Everything that I've found that does things that no one else can do on earth has always been a combination of bringing everything together. It's never been about separating it out. When you complete medicine, when you complement it, when you fill in the gaps where, this isn't working, all right, put natural in there. Oh, it does something, okay. And so when you complete it all, it gives humanity, it gives every human on earth the best possible medicine that they can have. At the moment, we've got a controlled version, and you don't know that. It's really sad that you don't know that. It's really sad that you all don't stand up and demand better and more, but you've been conditioned, you've been brainwashed, you think you know what you're talking about, and then you have all these other things that, that have within the culture, within creating languages, it's more conditioning. But then you're rejecting the very thing that could save your life. You would never put your hand up and say, fuck, I'm the problem. Because when you do that, you open yourself up to huge amounts of possibility. But our society has us going, oh no, don't do that. For years we were told not to show our emotions by generations of families that had no idea that the release of those emotions would get us to these higher states. So have we got it right? No. Is there many conspiracies? No. It's just people in lowered states of consciousness, just dumber, more stupid, making decisions in that stupid thing that affect us to either make money or control us. And that's the result of what we have today. If everything is widely available to you, it's not good for you. If it's hard to find, it's amazing for you. Okay? I've just driven across the whole of the country, and every town's got 7-Elevens, processed foods, McDonald's. It's like a carbon copy in each town, just picked up and put down. You all stay in these towns. And, lifetimes, not many people move around. You only get growth when there's change, and you don't there's no change. These are all facts. These are all things that you can test, and the longevity space is no different. There's some other things, which are which is new emerging science, and I'm just trying to work out how to make a bridge from where you are now to that higher vibrating frequency where I've got a really amazing project, which is, it's funny, it's ancient, but to you it would be so futuristic it's not funny, and it's formed from around the time of the Egyptians and Horus, and it's about magnetics, and we're not just talking about a normal magnet you buy at store. High powered magnets, frequency, quantum states, what that does on your biology within you, and all that sort of stuff. And it's fucking fascinating. It's really going to change the world as we know it. But then again, maybe not. I mean, I thought finding the cure to diseases that over 1 billion people would change the world, but it seems that form of that brainwashing is really really effective, and there's not many humans going, hey, this is not on, we want the best possible outcomes for us, we pay you all this taxes and money and all the rest of it, we want the best outcomes. But no, because you're brainwashed, you're going, I'm happy with my life, I'll get this and that and blah blah blah. You think you know what you're doing, but you don't. And it's going to be the same with everything, I guess, I come out with. So it's a matter of putting it out there for people who are evolved enough, who are graduating enough to a point where they want to make their lives better. And it's hard. You have to go back and forth. We're conditioned. Part of the whole thing that I had to do to get where I was I had to shed everything that I had accumulated over my life. That was hard. Shed all of the lies or anything that had no proof whatsoever, whether it be in history or what we're told, or generationally, or from my family. And you need to shed all that you have no proof of whatsoever. I'm giving you stuff that you have all the proof that you need, and you can test it and do it tomorrow. That's the difference. And you can see for yourself the results. And it's not about the results hitting sometimes like certain things and pieces of the puzzle that we're presented all the time. We've got many things, and we've been a little bit void in our common sense throughout the time as well. And we've got dumbed down, and we're probably at all-time dumbness levels right now. Even though there is a little bit of an awakening on the planet, the dumb people are dumber. And I'm not, you got to remember, I'm not having a go at you. I know you've listened to all this podcast, and all you can remember in your head is he called me dumb. That's biology, right? That's hacking into your biology. I do it for a reason. And it doesn't matter how many times I tell you, guess what? I was dumb, the dumb 7 years ago. I was the dumbest of the dumb. The reason why I have been given the gift of providing this information to you is because the creator of the universe must have gone, look, who's the dumbest fucking numbwit on earth? Someone that, if these people saw the stupidest person, couldn't be, no intelligence, no education, let's get the dumbest guy, let's give him the gifts, let's give him the gold, because then everyone will realize that anyone can do it. That's why I got it. That's why I've gone from the dumb to, I just happen to know something that no one else knows on the planet, and I share it freely, which you're not used to as well. There's a lot of things going on, isn't there? You're not used to anyone giving you something and compassionately going, I was like this, I don't want to see other people suffer, here's the thing. It's been quite a lesson for me. I've had to go, why the fuck doesn't anyone want to better themselves? Why don't they want to heal themselves? Why don't they want to, that's a whole other thing. It was almost like a curse, and I've had to give up a few times, and I've had to come back and go, no, dude, this is really important. And so this longevity project is going to be an amazing one, and obviously you'll see the results. It's once again, like, lots of things cause things. Lots of things need to be done to balance and rectify that. We're talking about balance, alignment, when we're talking about longevity, and we're talking about holistically. So we give instruction sets, clear intent and instructions to parts of your body that you don't even know exist at the moment. We do things physically that align with our natural being, and that's not stressing our body out in any way. It's not jumping into ice baths. It's not intensely going on this fasting diet and doing all this. Look, things like fasting done in the right way, I'm sure would have their purpose in life, but I don't know when people are starting to fast what state they're in. Does that make sense? The only diet that I've seen heal an incurable disease is a little bit like force feeding a chicken every hour on a vegan high nutritional, high intake diet that gets your body to a state of homeostasis where it heals incurable diseases. I've never been shown or never seen with my very own eyes the fasting or a carnivore diet do that or heal anything to a system. And what I'm worried about is that you guys just fucking buy everything, unwillingly knowing what you're doing. But I'm worried that, I was talking about human states, right? And in lowered states, I'm worried about you being in that lowered state where you're not healthy and you're going, oh, fuck, that fasting diet looks good. These guys fucking live by it. And so it's really bad responsibility on their behalf, because they don't know what state you're in when you're starting to do a fast. They don't know if you have the right levels. A lot of things, whether it be things in your body outside of medicines are different, but when you take it, it's pretty intense. It's straight away. Other things in your body and minerals and nutrition and states are all different levels, right? So who knows what level? You might be at a depleted level, and then you go and start a fast and you can make yourself quite sick. And because we're desensitized, we've switched off all the things that, do the self-diagnosis and work out where we're at. They're all switched off. So the only way you find out is you're in hospital or you're dead. And it's quite a bad way. So, I've been doing this for 7.5 years, and I've done a couple of fasts this year. I'm also forced than anything, but never really looked at it, done it, or have any inclination to do it. I've been on different forms of a carnivore diet or a meat diet, and you feel great, you lose weight quickly, but it slowly plateaus out. And most of those sort of fads are fads. They balance out and you get back to, your body sort of oscillates to a certain state and goes on. So so look, I'm only sharing, one, what works, but two, what my things have had great levels of research, and it's all transparent, it's all open to anyone who wants to track it back and find out where I got everything from. So to see people now getting on there and actually swearing by this diet for them and saying that everyone else should do it is completely wrong, irresponsible, and pretty fucked up when you think about it. You know, a fucking big ripped fucking guy getting on there going, this is my first meal at 9 o'clock at night and I'm having 2 ribeyes, 4 eggs, 4 6, this, that, the other, and fucking da-da-da, and boom. Like, that's fucking you, dude, right? You do you. How many people are looking at this guy going, oh, wow, that are, you know, totally and utterly brainwashed, trying it and getting sick, or it doesn't work, or, you know, there's more people getting it wrong than getting it right. And where does the accountability and the responsibility come from in those people providing that information? They must be the dumbest fucks getting around to be able to think that they're actually, you know what I mean? Like, who the fuck does that? There's a level of narcissism, self-importance. There's doctors doing it. There's doctors going, if anyone goes up against you for having a carnivore diet, here's all the comebacks for them. Like, if you have to defend something, there's something not right. But once again, like everything else in the world, you have no idea what the fuck's going on. So with longevity, just think balance, think alignment. Don't think intensity, think general low flow and energy forms of life. Emotional guidance system. If it feels good, it probably is good. You know, lots of different things at play. But yeah, we're going to, you know, I'm sorry to the ladies that now are a little bit upset that that this goes. Men can live longer. And look, it's exciting times, and you don't understand it, but there's an accelerated time of shift, and there's going to be more discoveries come out in the next 7 years across all fields than ever before in our whole human history. And so that in itself is a really amazing thing, isn't it? So what a time to be alive. I know you can't see it, we're all still in that doom and gloom, fear loops and all the rest of it, and you know, some of you are brainwashed, but for those ones that are awakened, that are, you know, the old souls that we call them, the ones that are light workers, not light spinners, ones that are into integrating with non-like-minded people and growing, and not the conspiracy theorists. You know, there's another whole, actually that's another podcast on conspiracy theorists. I've been classed and considered and told I was one, but I've actually met some that would just take the cake, mate. And that's a society thing. Why would we want to, why wouldn't we want to be open and listen and work out what's going on? So longevity. Look, I don't know when the program will be ready this year, but I know that that when it is, it's going to be something special. And I put on my website that there'll be a charge involved, but I might just give that away free as well. Anyway, have a great 2026. I guess if I can give you one piece of knowledge or wisdom from everything that I have learned in my life, and which is pretty out there, is that if you expect benevolent change, if you expect good things will happen. If you expect doom and gloom, they'll happen. That's your reality. So just change that mindset and expect some amazing things to happen for you, and try not to just keep your mind out of that negative gutter and just watch the world change for you. This is the Aaron Russos podcast. Thanks for listening, and Happy New Year.